small towns to big cities and everywhere in between. We're covering the great things that are happening right now in the USA. This is Positively America with Ernie Anastas.
And we're back. Hello, everyone. I'm Ernie Anastas. Thank you so much for joining us right here on Positively America. You know, I bet if you were to ask 100 people what brings them joy, what makes them happy and fulfilled, you'd probably hear the word family at least 99 times. Many people would say that kids and grandparents are the light of our lives, but we also know that raising children certainly presents its challenges, especially when they begin to get involved in school and all kinds of those extracurricular activities. Sports, so important in a child's life, but parents also keep an interest in what's going on. They watch what their kids are doing, and they do it so well sometimes that maybe they bring about some problems and some issues. We've got a very special guest joining us right now. She is the author of a book, Coach Parenting, Raising Teenagers with Advice from Pro Football's Greatest Head Coaches. She's also written a parenting series, Bonding Over Beauty. Let's say hi to Erika Katz. Love the topic and love to have you on the show, Erika. Hi.
Hi, Ernie. So great to be here.
Well, good to have you on board. You know, I love this topic. A lot of people watching us are saying, yeah, my kids are all playing sports, and I want to hear what this expert has to say. Okay, let's talk about it. What are the biggest mistakes that parents can make when their kids are playing sports?
Well, you never want to undermine the coach because the coach is the boss when they are playing sports. Many times we get upset. It's very heated. It's very emotional to watch your kids. So even if you don't agree with the coach, it's best you don't tell your children that you don't agree. You could always have a talk with the coach as adults to talk about maybe what's on your mind. But remember, on a team, it's teamwork, and it's also a great lesson to have to listen to somebody who's in a place of authority. And you don't want to teach your children that they don't have to listen to that person. Mm-hmm. So I always tell parents, when there's a coach, the coach is the boss, and you always have to back up the coach. Yeah. Even if you don't agree with the coach, to your children, you have to back up the coach.
But you know, Erika, I've been sitting in the stands, you know, with our kids, watching them, and other parents are there. It's very, very difficult, and you know that because parents get very emotional. It becomes very personal for them, and you have to really work at holding back, don't you?
Well, it's fine to be emotional and cheer your kids on. And when it's game day, you want to really coach confidence and tell them you're going to do great and go out there and really do well. But what you don't want to do is yell directions from the stands because it's very confusing for your child to hear directions from mom or dad and then directions from the coach. So when your child is playing, it's great to say, great shot, good job, all that wonderful things, but do not shout directions at them because it's difficult to know who to listen to.
Exactly. Now, you know, you've written many books, and let's stay on the area of sports. There are a lot of parents out there who are saying, okay, I try to tell my child, you know, what not to do, but if you're watching television, you know, you're watching a professional game, you watch some of these coaches, you know, lose it, some of these managers. How do you respond to that? What do you tell your child when they see that?
Well, I always say that's a teachable moment. When you see a player acting inappropriately, you can point out to your child, hey, it wasn't right that that player yelled at that coach. It wasn't right that those players were getting physical. All the things that you see that really isn't good sportsmanship, there's no reason you can't tell your child. Now, I get it. It's their favorite player. It's one of the top players in the league, maybe, that they're seeing acting in an inappropriate way. However, you can use anything you see as a teachable moment. And I always think it's great to teach sportsmanship because if sports aren't played on an even playing field, I mean, what is it? You don't want to be cheating during sports, and you don't want to be acting in a way that's aggressive toward another player. Everybody should play fair.
Okay, if there's a checklist, okay, you'd say, okay, parents, this is what I want you to think about. 1, 2, 3, 4. What would they be? What should they think about?
Go out and do your best. Work really hard to train for that sport you're doing. And when it gets a little bit uncomfortable, push through it and listen to your coach. And finally, remember, it's a team. If it's a team sport, you have to work together as a team. You can't always try to be the star. You got to work together because you win as a team. Remember, I can throw the football, but I can't also catch it. So you have to work as a team.
You really do. I think that's the best advice that you can give. You know, on this program, Positively America, I like to ask my guests kind of a final question. And I know you're going to give me a great answer. Here it is. Okay, what's great about America? What is it? What would you say, Erika?
Well, I travel a lot around the country, and what I love so much is that no matter what state I go to, when somebody meets me, we have this thing in common. We're Americans, and there's almost a bit of a hospitality you get when you meet a fellow American, especially when you travel abroad. You just connect immediately with somebody, and I think there's just something really special about meeting somebody that's a fellow American.
Great.
There's usually a common set of values that we have. I mean, of course, people have different ideas of what they like, but there's just this commonality to it.
A great answer. A good answer. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed talking to you, Erika. Thanks again.
Thanks so much, Ernie.
Coming up, coaching isn't just for sports, it's for executives too. Ever wonder what makes a great boss and why you like some of them more than others? My expert guest will tell us more when Positively America comes right back. Positively America continues right now, and I'm Ernie Anastas. Well, isn't it true that most of the time, it's not so much what we say, but how we say it? I think many people will agree that that's the story in our personal relationships and also in our work lives. So we've invited somebody who knows all about this. He's a clinical assistant professor of executive coaching at NYU School of Professional Studies. He's also a professionally certified coach and author of The U Plan. Dr. Michael Woodward is joining us right now, and he's one of the most inspiring people that I know, and that's why I invited him on the show. Woody, good to see you.
It's great to be here, and I will do my best to be inspiring.
Well, listen, there's a lot to cover here, and we're talking about, if someone asks for advice, and you're a professional at this is what you do, this is what you teach. Someone asks for advice, okay, what's the best way to give that? What do you do?
I think first I always say step back and respond with the question, and that question is, what is it you're looking for from me? Because sometimes it may be advice based on your subject matter expertise, but sometimes it may just be help walking through something. And that's where, if it's help walking through something, you want to step back and approach it like a coach, right? Where you're going to ask questions and be their thought partner. How do you draw out of them what they need as opposed to telling them what you know?
Sure. And you have to listen, right? That's a big factor. Listening carefully.
Listening. So, Ernie, I'm sure most people watching are guilty of this. Oftentimes when they're in a conversation, when someone else is talking, we're thinking in our own head of what we're going to say next, right?
That's
so
true,
you need to listen.
Yeah.
And a big part of listening is the more deeply you listen, the more likely you are to find the questions you need from what your conversation partner is telling you. Yeah. Students all the time, my students in my coaching program will say, Woody, I'm not sure what questions to ask, or if I don't have the right questions. And I say, don't worry about a list of questions. Listen to what they say. And if you listen, the questions will come.
Yeah, and also, Woody, it's how you ask the questions, right? If you're talking to someone and how you solicit the information that you want, you don't want to put them at risk. You don't want them to feel uncomfortable. That's a real knack.
Yeah, you have to question with care. Yeah. And I think part of questioning with care is not being evaluative. So another thing I train students on is don't ask questions where you're evaluating. Like, oh, wow, I hear what you're telling me. That sounds terrible. What are we going to do? No, it's tell me more about that, right? Ask objective questions. Don't put evaluations around statements, because that'll make someone either feel defensive or they may even feel bad about themselves and be less willing to share.
I think another word that you use often, that's being respectful. If someone feels that you're respecting them, right, it makes them feel more open and comfortable, letting themselves, explain what they really feel. All right, let me ask you this. People watching, people listening are saying, all right, I hear this in a business relationship. What about every day? I mean, how do I talk to my kids? How do I talk to my mate? How do I talk to other people around me? What are the tips there, Woody?
Well, I have a 5-year-old, so I practice this every day. And it's be respectful of questions, because like as a 5-year-old, he can drive me nuts because he's a question machine, which I guess he's my son, right?
Oh, yeah.
But understand they're asking because they're trying to learn. They're not doing it they don't have an agenda, right? They're not trying to irritate you or push your buttons. They literally don't know things and they're trying to learn things. So be patient and listen. And try to deliver what they're looking for. Do the best you can, but always try to listen and help.
And the same thing applies if you're talking to your mate, right? I mean, that's a very important relationship. Making sure that you follow the same basic rules, right?
step back and try to take your agenda out of it, because when it's a spouse or family, there's always agendas. Your agenda, their agenda,
Right.
even a third agenda. So try to step back and just ask about what they're asking about. Ask them to clarify. Ask them to define what they mean.
You know, Woody, I always remember Maya Angelou had a great quote. People may not remember what you said, right? But they'll remember how you made them feel. So it's all about
Absolutely.
feelings. Speaking about feelings, okay, you're pretty worldly. You're out there. You're hearing about a lot of things going on. No, really, I mean that. And I ask you this question that I ask many of my guests. What is great about America? What do you think?
Wow, I think the list is too long to go through in a quick segment, but I would say probably, honestly, the first thing would be opportunity. I think we're a true meritocracy in so many ways. And I think if you're willing to open your eyes and look around you, you can find opportunity. And if you don't see it in front of you, there are ways to create it. And I think you're always going to find people who will support you.
Opportunities, it's a good word, and that's what everybody looks for these days, right? Just a chance to be able to grow and do and become whatever you are. Woody, it's always a pleasure to have you on board.
Oh, so great to see you, Ernie. Thank you so much.
All right, after a short time out, we're going to let you know about getting your comfort zone in place, what actually makes you feel physically and mentally better. We're going to see you coming up in just a couple of minutes. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. More on Positively America, and I thank you very much for watching us. All right, now, what if I told you that getting out of your comfort zone could actually give you comfort? Certainly, my next guest will be able to explain it a lot better than I can, because she holds a doctorate in clinical psychology. Her private practice focuses on stress management, relationship issues, self-esteem, and coaching. She is also the author of Nervous Energy, Harnessing the Power of Your Anxiety. Let's say hello to Dr. Chloe Carmichael, and congratulations, by the way, on becoming a USA Today best-selling author. I see the book right there. Good for you. I'm happy for you.
Ernie, thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to be with you again.
Well, it's a joy, and the message of your book is what we're talking about today. Nervous energy and how to make use of it. What's the focus here? How does that really work? Tell us.
Sure, Ernie. Well, a lot of people are actually surprised to know that instead of, quote, managing or coping with anxiety, we actually can go a step further and use anxiety to our benefit. There's a lot of constructive benefits that Mother Nature packs in with anxiety. We just have to know how to use them.
But you know what, Chloe? A lot of people, when we think of being anxious, we always think of it being a bad thing. You know, this is not good. This is not good. You're saying, wait a minute, you can turn it around and you can make it good. How do we do it?
Absolutely. Well, one of my favorite ways to make it good is a technique from my book, Nervous Energy, Harness the Power of Your Anxiety. And the technique is called the mental shortlist. So what we do in that particular technique, there's two ways to do it. The first is if you have a kind of a dead-end topic that you just keep rehashing in your mind, you have to realize it's actually a good thing that you have that extra mental energy. We just want to point it in the right direction. So we give you a good mental shortlist. We think of 5 things in advance that we know are good uses of your mental energy. It could be anything from like what you're going to do with your spouse this weekend, to something that you need to do for work, to catching up on your holiday and birthday shopping. But you have 5 things in advance, so that when you have that extra mental energy, instead of wasting it on a dead-end topic, you point it at something that's going to actually help you. That's one good way to use it.
Okay, but some people would say, all right, I can try this imaging thing, you know, whether I'm thinking about what you said or the beach or whatever, but my mind just kind of keeps going back, you know, it just keeps going back to what's bothering me. How do you stop that? How do you do that?
Yeah, well, sometimes your mind keeps going back to what's bothering you because, in fact, it's not a dead-end topic. It's actually something really important. So, for example, if your mind keeps going to, say, a job interview or something really important, what you do instead then is you adapt the mental shortlist. So instead of just coming up with 5 things to, like, say, distract yourself or think about instead, you come up with 5 things that you know will actually help you. So say, for example, if your mind keeps coming back to an upcoming job interview, you think about 5 ways ways that you can actually prepare for that job interview. You think of ways that you can have friends do mock interviews for you, or you frankly think about what you'll have for breakfast the day of that interview, or you think about how to prepare for those questions. So that way, instead of just stewing in general anxiety about that topic, you're actually using the energy constructively.
Okay, so let me ask you, you see a lot of people, you see a lot of patients. Does it work? You give them this advice. What's the feedback? Give me some success stories.
Absolutely. So indeed it does work. People find it very liberating because instead of, getting down on themselves and saying, oh, why do I keep thinking about this dead-end topic? People suddenly realize, wait a minute, it's a good thing that my brain has this extra mental energy. I don't want to solve the wrong problem here, right? Instead of just trying to quiet down my mind, I can say, oh, it's a good thing that my mind is a live wire. I just need to point it at the right topic. So instead of don't think about pink elephants, don't think about that topic that's not good for you. You just give yourself a good, helpful topic to think about instead.
I like that. It's good advice, and as you just told us, it works. A lot of your people are coming back and saying, I like this, I like it. And your book is doing great. Congratulations, bestseller. I love that. Let me ask you another question, okay? It's something that I ask all my guests. What's great about America, Dr. Chloe?
Oh, well, freedom of speech, Ernie. So as a clinical psychologist, I really believe that when we have freedom of speech, it's one of the things that evolutionary psychologists say helped us to evolve to such a sophisticated species. It helps us to develop our ideas and understand ourselves better and understand the people around ourselves better. So First Amendment, freedom of speech, positively America.
Freedom of speech, I like that a lot, and it keeps everybody positive. Dr. Chloe, congratulations on your book. We wish you all the very best and good things to come for you and for your family, okay? Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Ernie.
Okay, when we come right back for you, Billy Floyd is asking America, what makes you smile? Plus, you can share your answers on our social media platforms. You might wind up on TV someday. Stay with us. We'll come right back.
Welcome back to Positively America. I'm Billy Floyd, and this week we're asking America, what makes you smile?
Kindness. Kindness in all of its forms makes me smile. I think when people are kind to one another, whether it's a small gesture like holding a door open for someone who's coming out behind you, or even letting somebody pull out in front of you, or a grand gesture of making somebody's day by buying them coffee, or when they're kind to animals, that really knocks it out of the park for me.
What makes me smile is people being passionate about something, people really caring, because honestly, it's just infectious.
I would say listening to my favorite song and jamming out in the car.
Tell me your favorite song. Can you sing it for me?
I will not sing, but anything Taylor Swift makes me smile, puts me in a great mood.
I think that making a genuine connection with someone makes me smile. When you discover that you have something in common with somebody, share a joke, share an inside moment, that connection, that humanity really makes me smile.
Any kind of love, even just the simple acts of love, like sending a little checking in on you text, or the big grand versions of love. My favorite thing to do is see airport reunions. You see that kind of love, and it's so genuine and wonderful.
How about a hug? Is that good love? A good loving hug. How about that? I'll tell you what makes me smile, watching Positively America. We'll see you next time. I'm Billy Floyd.
All right, thank you, Billy, for asking America. Okay, I love this now because in many ways it's how I live, how I direct my life. I want to share it with you. I want you to be you. Dare to be different. Adopt the idea of having a pioneering mentality, a way of visualizing paths that don't exist. Yes, let me encourage you to go your own way, even to motivate and encourage others to follow you. It's easy to follow someone else and not even think, but it may not be the right way for you. Now let me ask you this question. Honestly, okay, do you think for yourself? If you want to be an innovator, there are certain ways people have done it, and you have to be fearless and believe in the impossible. Believe in the impossible. I know what you're probably saying. Okay, Ernie, I've heard this before, Tell me what else is new. Well, think of this. This idea is new if you haven't heard it. So don't give up. Be persistent. Sure, there are roadblocks in life, but learn to overcome them. I'm encouraging you right now to go for it. Go for original thinking. Try to create something that you see in your own mind, a unique idea. From my own experience, it can be challenging and a lot of fun to do it. So come on, think about us. Whatever you perceive in your mind, you can turn it into reality. Come make some magic happen in your life. Thanks for watching. I'm Ernie Anastas on Positively America. We'll see you next time, and remember, stay positive.